Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Insuring India, a podcast by Digit Insurance. I am your host Sabari Saran, and on this episode, we will discuss what role tech can play to improve insurance penetration in India. According to the Red Sea report, the penetration rate in the non-life insurance space in India is at 0.9%, which is amongst the lowest globally. In comparison, the global average insurance penetration is actually around 3.6% among leading global economies. But why is the insurance penetration so low in India? Low penetration in the insurance industry actually stems from lack of financial literacy, lack of awareness of need and sufficiency of insurance, low household disposable income, complex products, gaps in product offerings, and inefficiencies in the distribution system. Opaque cost structures, hidden fees, difficult to understand language, and jargon have made a lot of people averse to insurance products. However, India has seen significant growth in digital adoption measured by number of internet users, smartphone users, and online transactions. This rapid digital adoption actually has the potential to boost the growth of penetration. There have in fact been a lot of innovations that the insurance industry has seen in the last few years. These, in fact, have improved the insurance adoption in the country. But what are these innovations? How much ground have we covered till now, and what role can tech play in transforming the insurance sector? To know all of this and a lot more, joining me in this conversation is Vishal Shah, who's the head of data science at Digit Insurance. Thank you so much, Vishal, for joining us on this podcast. I know there is a lot happening in the world of tech and the world of insurance. But when we talk of tech, use of artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, etc., is something we hear a lot. I want to understand from you how these technologies are being used in the insurance industry.
So thank you, Sabir. Thank you for inviting me for this interesting podcast. So you raised some no very good questions in terms of how this whole data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning helps the insurers in adopting to digitalization. So we'll just go point by point. So to your question of how this help the insurance industry, so we have to take a step back, and then when we look at the industry currently, one of the biggest challenge that we see that a lot of insurers face is how unstructured the data is, right?
Correct, yeah.
So in terms of motor, so when we look at the garages that are involved, when we look at the associated parties like surveyors who are involved, so we see a lot of unstructured data from them. In health also we see hospital bills which are not at all standardized.
Correct.
So the process is a time taking one if one has to individually go through all the documents.
Right.
So many insurers today are using artificial intelligence to provide a more streamlined approach that is quick as well as accurate. This helps the insurance companies to summarize claims document at a much faster pace, right?
Right.
So now if we have to talk about insurance renewals, so you can also use the renewal prediction algorithms that a lot of companies already use to predict whether the customer's propensity to renew or not. So if the customer is likely to renew, then the focus towards those who are not renewing can be much more for them, right? So if the model is able to do that, then the company can utilize such models for improving their overall renewal ratio also. So AI/ML is actually a good potential for streamlining and automating a lot of processes. This leads to less human intervention ultimately, and customers can also have a significant improvement in experience as a seamless process. So just to give you or to highlight as an example, today when it comes to motor inspection, what typically happens is a surveyor is sent to the customer's place, and he then assesses the vehicle for any damage, and then he sends a report back to the insurer.
Correct.
So this takes anywhere close to about 2 or 3 days at least. Now if we have to train an AI to recognize what is the vehicle type, what is the what is whether it matches with the actual vehicle or not, what are the damages on the vehicle, what is the poses that we want it to be detected on. So all this can be just integrated quickly on the app, and it can be achieved with the help of an AI or a deep learning model, which with the help of just a few pictures of a video from all the angles can do the entire pre-inspection in less than 5 minutes. So this is actually a very big game changer for the industry, which has drastically reduced the time from days to minutes, right?
Correct.
So you can see a similar process to automate claim payout or summarize the claim documents also. So the scope of AI/ML in any insurance process is huge.
Right. That's very interesting, Vishal. You rightly said that the scope or the opportunity is immense. But I want to understand, has the uptake for such tech been high in the insurance sector, or is there still a lot of ground to cover?
Yeah. So there has been a good uptake amongst all the insurers when it comes to all the new age technologies. But I think when we talk about new tech or digitally transforming something, one also needs to understand that the tech adoption happens for the entire ecosystem and all the stakeholders
Right.
who are part of the ecosystem, not just the insurance company alone.
Correct.
And often that is the most challenging part. So when you talk about an insurance company, who are the typical stakeholders? One of course is the customers.
Right.
One other one would be your partners or your agents who sell the policies.
Right.
Then there are hospital networks or garages or surveyors, right? So there are a lot of other stakeholders also who are usually within the ecosystem for an insurance company.
Right.
So now you would know these have traditionally followed a typically physical model.
Correct.
So when we talk about digitizing the insurance ecosystem, this is where the pain point is often seen. An insurance company cannot transform digitally if there are gaps in the ecosystem.
Right.
So in the past few years, for example, for a company like ours, which has grown drastically from being a startup to more than 5,000 crores of premium last year, the focus has been on empowering the entire ecosystem through tech. Partners today are digitally enabled and can sell a policy within minutes. There is also focus on self-servicing. So whether it's the claims journey or the renewal journey, tech has the potential of transforming different problems across the various areas in the industry for which the insurance company has been facing issues for decades altogether.
Right.
Many of them are being solved by the new age players or the insurtech players. Though things have definitely improved, I feel there is a lot of ground to cover.
Right. Vishal, you spoke about how the insurance industry has predominantly worked on a physical model. So, what are the key challenges of trying to digitize this ecosystem?
Sure. So when you talk about completely adopting a digital model, you have to focus on digitizing all the channels that sell your policy.
Right.
Now, direct channel can typically be digital because the customers are coming to your website and buying the policies, right?
Right.
The insurance today, the industry today continues to be offline heavy. The industry still gets more than 60% of its premium from agents and brokers. So this means majority of the Indians, they're still buying their insurance from brokers and agents.
Right.
So as a company, you cannot say that I will sell my policies only in the online distribution channel.
Right.
One needs to be present where the customers are present. So if the model is physical, then the focus on having a phygital model for your brokers or agents is very essential. So policy that is usually sold via agents physically is a very cumbersome process. It's a cumbersome for partners also, for the customers also, as well as for the insurance companies.
Right.
So what can be done about this? So for example, what we are doing in our case is focusing on digitally enabling the ecosystem. So if the partners and brokers are empowered using tech that can solve the problem immensely, or rather they can solve the problem immensely. So when you do that, the entire processes gets digitized right from the proposal stage to the policy issuance stage.
Right.
So if a company is able to achieve that, then you can completely eliminate the manual policy issuance. Today we barely have 0.17 percentage of the policies which are issued manually. Everything is done digitally. And this is not just in terms of policy issuance, be it in terms of claims, amendments to a policy, communication to the customer, everything is empowered digitally. So why we have done this? Because now everybody knows that the internet penetration that has happened in the last 5 to 10 years has dramatically altered the landscape. So this has definitely helped even a new age company like us, plus also the traditional incumbents.
Right. So, Vishal, the awareness around health insurance has certainly increased post the pandemic. But this is also a space where the response time, so to say, should be the most, whether it is in the approval stage or settling of claims. So, how is tech ensuring the quickness or the pace and ensuring a lower turnaround time for such things?
Yeah, great question, Sabri. So claims that come from health insurance are typically higher, right, in terms of the amount than what you say, than what you get from, let's say, a motor claim or a travel claim.
Correct.
So it's important that the claims journey is as simplified as possible. When you get a health claim, you also get a range of documents like customer notes, pharmacy bills, receipts, etc. So typically in a particular claim, we get more than about 30 documents. On an average, we have about 35 to 40 documents that we get in a health claim.
Right.
So now all these documents are highly unstandardized, no, very unstructured. So with the help of AI, one can build a document analysis engine. So a document analysis engine or a classification engine basically can identify or classify all the documents, and it can also extract the relevant information into the claims processing system.
Right.
So this will help to bring down the time it would otherwise take for someone to go through multiple documents, and hence it helps in contributing for bringing down the overall turnaround time.
Right.
Internally also, you can create a claim stage mechanism which is then integrated with WhatsApp. So a user need not always call the customer care number or follow up on emails. One can simply ping the WhatsApp bot and instantly know where the claim is currently stuck or what is the current stage for the particular claim.
Right.
So what typically takes days can be in fact done in a matter of few minutes or few hours.
Right.
For example, in fiscal year 2022,
Right.
our turnaround times for health cashless pre-authorization claim was about 42 minutes and approximately 7 hours for health reimbursement claim settlement.
Right.
So this is one of the quickest in the industry. So the claim filing and settling can also be done seamless through tech. There is immense scope for API integration if insurance companies and hospitals can work together to integrate their systems.
Right.
So using tech, hospital bills can be automatically shared, processed on the cloud, and companies can receive intimation. But insurance companies have 5,000 to 10,000 hospital networks, so there has to be willingness from other parties to adapt to such systems also.
Right. Quite interesting, Vishal. So, you are actually also the head of data science at Digit. And people like me who don't fully understand tech may not necessarily know what role data science play in a digitally full stack insurance company like us. Can you tell us what are some of the use cases of data science in the insurance industry?
Yeah. So actually the word data science is highly jargonized now. So yeah. So the use case of data science in insurance industry is immense. So insurance, actually if you look at it, insurance companies traditionally have been the most analytical companies because they work on huge amounts of data for their pricing.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So long before the term data science was introduced, the insurance companies were analytical enough to do data mining on their past data.
Right.
That aside, so even though a lot of companies may not realize it, but data science does play a big role in the functioning of insurance companies.
Right.
So using data science platform, one can use predictive modeling techniques to map behavior patterns to detect fraudulent activities.
Right.
You can also use it for customer retention by predicting customer behavior. One can also use data science for better risk selection. Customer segmentation is also one key area or risk selection basically, because this helps in better improving the bottom line of the company, and this can be done by analyzing the data and by creating predictive features which can then recommend relevant products for the customers.
Right. So, Vishal, you also just mentioned how tech can help prevent fraud, which is actually one of the biggest risks in the insurance industry. So, can you explain what type of tech solutions can be used to mitigate such risks?
Oh yes, so fraud is, yeah, you are right, Sabri. So fraud is something which plagues the entire insurance industry, not just in India but worldwide.
Right.
So there are different tech solutions one can implement to reduce frauds or increase the scope of detection. There are different use cases or stages when fraud can occur. This can begin right from the information that is provided by customers, or it can also be at the time of filing false claims by
Right.
inflating the loss or by introducing a third party.
Right.
So a lot of algorithms can be used to do predictive data analysis, which can categorize fraud levels. Predictive analytics can also be used by feeding the system with historical data
Right.
and detect patterns and behaviors. One can also do visual analytics to carry out preliminary graph investigations.
Right.
So, this requires deployment of minimal resources which are relying on highly precise data.
Right.
So, this can ultimately aid in weeding out fraudulent claims. There are also new age solutions like blockchain that can be looked at for fraud detection or in case of identity fraud.
Right. So, Vishal, we have seen automation being adopted by many insurance companies. So, can you tell us what kind of solutions is it providing to end consumers?
So automation is one of the most key means, or rather something that any company cannot avoid in this day and age,
Right.
because adoption of automation is one of the most powerful trends that has emerged in the recent years.
Right.
Intelligent process automation in insurance has proved to be the perfect solution for many of the challenges that we as insurers are facing, right, especially during the pandemic.
Right.
So the heavy reliance on manual work has reduced, thereby leading to quicker processing of claims, reduced expenses, and improved customer experience, especially. So some interesting use cases over here, Sabri, would include implementation of automated claims processing workflows and insurance policy issuance based on robotic process automation use cases, automated underwriting.
Right.
So with all these automation techniques replacing the routine activities, insurers can dedicate it more time and effort into providing more personalized experience to the customer.
Right.
In an age where essential documents can be very easily be duplicated,
Right.
leading to large losses for use for the companies, RPA can be implemented to verify and validate insurance claims and other documents. So, one of the use cases that we have deployed here for automation is in terms of customer experience. So, we receive a lot of mails from the customers into our contact center.
Right.
So, we have developed an intent engine which basically reads the email and it identifies what is the intent behind that email.
Correct.
So once it has successfully identified the email, so for example, an intent can be a request for a policy soft copy,
Right.
or a request for a policy amendment, change of name, or anything like that.
Right.
So once we identify an intent successfully, for which we have trained an AI model on, then what we have is we automate the action also, and we directly send the mail to the customer once he is authenticated, obviously, with our policy records,
Right.
and we directly close the ticket by the bot. Okay. So what this has helped us is, this has helped us to reduce the time spent by manual customer care agents on tickets. So right now about 30% of the tickets are being automatically read by the AI bot, and they are also closing it by serving the request directly to the customers. So this has really benefited, because we had seen a lot of surge in tickets in the past, but because we did not have manpower, this could have led in delay in reply.
Correct. Yeah.
But because we have deployed our automatic bot, or AI bot for the intent engine, this has helped us to handle those kind of peaks without any disruption in experience for the customer. So these are some of the use cases that one can very easily deploy these kind of technologies on.
Right. Very interesting, Vishal, because I think quick response time is something that a customer always looks at.
Absolutely.
So, like, I know now I have already taken up too much of your time. But one last question, Vishal. So, EVs are a hot topic right now and it is becoming quite popular in India. And with EVs, we are also seeing conversations around telematics all over again. So, can you tell us in what form is telematics being used today and what, according to you, are some of the challenges?
Yeah, so telematics, Sabri, so telematics has been in existence in the insurance space for a very, very long time.
Right,
Especially in the Western world, if you look at Geico, some of the older players which are there in the European countries, so all of them have adopted telematics since 10-15 years now.
right,
But in India, it is only recently that the interest has around it has risen. Many high-end vehicles or EVs now today come pre-installed with a telematics device.
right,
So the idea of implementing telematics stemmed from the fact that an individual's driving behavior is a very reliable parameter to assign a personalized pricing
right,
for a premium. So, using telematics, an individual's risk profile can be evaluated based on his or her driving behavior, and they can be charged an insurance premium accordingly.
right,
It also encourages driver to drive safely, and it also promotes road safety.
correct, yeah,
Moreover, with the help of collecting this driving data, insurance companies can also offer need-based policies that are beneficial for the insurers in the long run, while taking a hyper-personalized approach to customer service. So this data is collected by the device that is installed on the driver's vehicle, which then tracks the details of how the car is driven, its speed, distance covered, acceleration, braking, because there are various sensors which are installed in this telematics device.
right,
However, the usage-based insurance in India is still in a very nascent stage due to privacy, infrastructure-related concerns. There is also a question of who will own the entire ecosystem
right,
around telematics, because it is not just about the device and the data, it is also about the ecosystem. So there is an additional issue of which party is liable to bear the cost of telematics device, whether it is the customer who will bear the cost, is it the insurer or the car manufacturer.
right,
Integration of technology is most efficient if we have to move away from traditional one size fits all approach that has been followed by insurers in the past. Adopting to the right tech tools provides a more customized experience in a market with constantly changing customer needs and preferences. So now customers have also woken up to telematics. There is not a lot of news in the market about pay as you drive, which the regulator has launched recently.
correct,
And in
yeah,
fact, we were the first ones to come out with a policy also around that.
correct,
So customers are also now are cognizant of the fact that they can reduce their risk premiums by adopting a healthy driving habit.
right.
So all this will in all help in hopefully improving the road safety experience in our country.
Right. Thank you so much, Vishal, for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us on the Insuring India podcast. We hope you all enjoyed this conversation on how tech has the potential to transform the insurance ecosystem in India and aid in increasing insurance penetration. We are already seeing a lot of interesting tech innovation in the insurance sector. Let's hope we see increased adaptability of these new age tech solutions in the industry in the coming years, which can further ensure seamless experience to the customers. That's all on this episode. Do subscribe to us to keep getting notified whenever we drop something new. Thank you and see you next time.